Right, your newspapers. Let's take a look at the front pages, and we're starting off with the Business Day.
Business Day.
Yeah,
let's take a look at what's making headlines there. So the Business Day, they lead this morning, NTBPS, a new budget, says Sachs. That's the former Treasury official who's laid into the unprecedented cost cuts in the medium-term budget policy statement. And he says that the medium-term budget policy statement reallocations were so huge and far-reaching that they actually constitute a new budget rather than an in-year adjustment to the February budget. That's according to Michael Sachs. And then also on that front page, the PIC gives Transnet 4.4 billion rand debt reprieve, and this, of course, Transnet in all sorts of trouble. And also worrying is the knock-on effects of the Transnet problems. And then Ford to put 5 billion rand into South Africa to build electric Ranger. So the US Motor Company is spending 5.2 billion to turn its South African subsidiary into the only global manufacturer of plug-in hybrid electric Ranger bakkies. So those will be manufactured here. And this one, very interesting, at the bottom there. Prisoners win right to use laptops in their cells. And this is basically a ruling by the Supreme Court of Appeal, a judgment that affirms the constitutional right to education for all prisoners. And the case was brought by Mbalenhle Ntuli, a prisoner at Joburg Max C Correctional Center, and he wanted to use his laptop to continue his studies with the distance learning college. And essentially, prisoners were only allowed to use their laptops in a designated space area for a designated amount of hours per day. But because he was studying something along, the IT computer lines, the court actually ruled that he should have access to his computer.
All prisoners are allowed to take laptops into the prison cells?
The ones who are studying like him.
Just that. And then do they have free Wi-Fi within the prisons? I mean, is that how it works?
Well, he will have to have access to whatever he needs to study.
Okay.
So that's the interesting part. This one obviously is going to polarize South Africa.
Yes.
No doubt.
I want to read that story. I was waiting for you to get there. Okay. All right. There we go. So that's the front of the Business Day. Let's get on to the front of the Star now. The Star, Ekurhuleni. A show of clean governance is what the headline says. Local government expert says Cape Town and Ekurhuleni are exceptions to the prevailing criminality. Just saying, most of the corruption in South Africa is in the local government sphere. It happens mostly in the Northwest, Mpumalanga, and the Free State. Much of the corruption remains unreported and has the most effect on the government's ability to create work and stabilize economy. Goodness, there's an interesting one for you to take a look at. Then the photograph is of Sinen Jabelo Zungo Ntuli, the widow of Amazulu soccer player. Such a sad story. Bongi Nkosi Ntuli at his memorial service that was held at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban. This was yesterday. The athlete lost his battle with cancer on Sunday and will be buried today. So that's what the big photograph there is on the front of the Star. And then here's a story. I'm not sure if you've heard about this one, but Mbalula to lay charges over bribery allegations. So ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has threatened to lay charges, and this is against. This has threatened to lay charges against Tujwa Capital CEO Mthunzi Ndwaba over allegations that he and 3 cabinet members attempted to solicit a bribe of R500,000 from him. In fact, I did see one coming up on social media where the Secretary General, I suppose this was printed last night, so there is an update to that story, that he is going to be going to the police station to lay charges. And we will be getting an update, I think, from our reporter on that story, Samkela Maseko. So he's going to lay those charges. Sorry, I'm dwelling on it a bit because I'm trying to pull it up. The release says the Secretary General Fikile Mbalula will open a criminal injuria case against Mthunzi Ndwaba at the Sandton police station at 7 o'clock this morning. So that's what's going to happen. We'll have that live for you here on the program. So that's a follow on from that one. All right, I'll leave the paper there for the next one.
Yeah. Well, the Citizen, all I saw was a huge advert this morning, but this is on the second front page. City Power's 4-hour glitch, and also Princess Bid, or rather what's that? I'm struggling with this one. Private bid to keep the lights on, and also hope amid the pain. And cop hit on a court couple. That's a story we're carrying in the news, and it would seem that there may be some suspicion, given that the woman in that couple was apparently meant to testify against some police officers. So there are questions as to whether that hit was put out by police officers.
Okay, then a very quick look at the Sowetan this morning. Falsely accused, arrested, tortured, then murdered. That's what it is. A woman shot dead outside the Randburg court. The story you were talking about, SK, was a domestic worker due to testify against cops who allegedly assaulted her after she was falsely accused of robbery at work. So that's what that story is. That's the one that they are focusing in on. John Carney, yes, gets his royal recognition. So lovely to have him here on the program yesterday, telling us that news first. And then Senzo Mayue, defense team accused of leaking info. And then the picture of I chose to denounce the devil in public.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
So those are some of the stories, and of course don't forget our own website here on SABC, and you can find on there all of these stories, more, some of our own stories here on SABC that we've highlighted, as well as podcasts, and you can go to www.sabc.com.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. Here's your news. SK's got our details for us.